How you doing, Ram fans? And welcome to another edition of Meet the Rams Above the Rim. I'm Sports Information Director James McBride. As always, bi-weekly, to my side is head coach of men's basketball, Brennen Shingleton. We've got a lot we want to talk about since the last time we were here. Brendan, the first thing I want to lead off with you is the news that came out on the 29th of last month with Tokes winning Player of the Week. I believe that's our first Player of the Week we've had since Akili Vining won it the previous year and went on to win NAIA Player of the Week. You just want to talk about Tokes and his performance and his Player of the Week.
Well, a lot of times that's just an attribute to him putting the ball in the basket and you winning. So, I've gone back and forth a little bit about it. I mean, we had 2 wins that week, I think it was. And then Toke was shooting the ball really well. And then the one night he kind of went off a little bit, went 9 for 12 from the three-point line. So that helps. I mean, it's Player of the Week. It's a good award. But at the end of the day, I think he's happier that we're putting some wins on the board too. So instead of an award that kind of falls into a 26-week season. So.
And another thing that came out of that was y'all were going on a 4-game win streak. Of course, you had the win at home against USAO.
Yep.
You had to go up to Mid-America Christian and play. Of course, they had been hot too. I believe they were on an 8-9 game win streak at that point whenever you had played them. Yep. You just want to talk about those 2 games a little bit.
We've won 5 of 6. When we went up to MACU, I really thought we had a chance to win that game. We played well enough to do it. We just kind of didn't execute down the stretch. And so that put them at 10 wins in a row. So, again, this conference just cannibalizes itself. I mean, it's hard to win at home. It's hard to win on the road. It's hard to stay consistent because there's a lot of inconsistent basketball out there. So winning at home is always great, but going to stealing a win on the road, I mean, that's obviously how people win this league. So.
And then, of course, one thing that I've seen that stuck out to me since this semester started is the play of Isaiah Marin. You just want to talk about the dynamic he's brought to the team to change things.
Well, he is exactly who we thought he was going to be. He's a tremendous leader. He's not overly emotional, which is great for me because I am. And he balances us out really well. He can defend damn near every position on the court. He rebounds the ball really well. He's got a great pace. He's trying to clean his turnovers up, but a lot of that has to do with just not playing for the past, 6 months, 8 months. So he's been a huge addition to us. And really he's made our bench deeper, which has allowed us to play guys in their natural positions. First semester we really weren't playing, obviously we weren't playing very good basketball because we were just out of position. And so now with the depth, we can kind of move some guys around and start playing a little bit more balanced. And Isaiah's been really the pivotal part of that. So.
And somebody else's play I want to talk about to you is the play of the big man from Detroit, Michigan, Chris Lafayette. In this last week, he was able to bring down 38 rebounds, 8 of them offensive, 30 of them defensive. Of course, he was 1 rebound short in the MACU game of having 3 double-doubles in the week. You just want to talk about his play in that week.
Well, let me tell you something. He's coming off a full year knee injury last year. Back in August, if you'd have told me in this 5 games and 10 game stretch that he would have played 150 minutes, I would have laughed at you. But you think about that. He played 150 minutes in 5 games in 10 days. That's traveling on a bus day and back, eating Subway, nothing glamorous. And so for him to do that, it should be nothing short of a congratulations on his behalf because, coaches can put you in those situations, but it's my job to take you out of them if you're not doing well. But when you have those numbers and you have those minutes and you have those results, that's a testament to the player. It's not anything. It has nothing to do with coaching. So he should be very proud of himself, and I hope it just continues really the next 3 weeks, 6 games of the regular season because we need him. He's leading the league in rebounding. He's by far the best big in the league. And when he is angry, or I should say chippy, he's like no other player in the NAIA, in my opinion. But the problem is he's kind of toned me out a little bit about getting him angry. So I need other people to kind of irritate him. Sometimes that's his opponent. Sometimes that's mom calling before the game or whatever it might be. So next time you see him, walk up and just say, hey, you look like Gumby with a bad hairdo, you know. Do something to get him irritated, and maybe we'll get the results we need to keep this thing going. So,
Well, I want to move on. You talked about 6 games left in the season. Of course, 3 of those are going to be on the road. 3 of those are going to be at home. The first thing I want to discuss with you is the 2 you have coming up on the road. Of course, it's a long road trip for you to go out there to Wayland and then go up to Goodwill to play Oklahoma Panhandle State. Besides the distance you have to travel, what is it that makes that road trip so hard on the team?
this is going on the internet.
This is going on the internet.
It's a long bus ride. We travel with the ladies. Economically, it's the only way it works. They're 2 very difficult places to play. Both teams are very competitive. Wayland's really good. We somehow miraculously have the same 3 referees every time we go out there. Don't know if it's a proximity issue. Don't know if it's what. But, I mean, this is the essence of small college athletics. Because if this was my first year of coaching or my 3rd year of coaching, I would have all the excuses in the world. Because it's difficult. But in essence, everybody has to do it. Everybody's got to go out there. The travel is not ideal. The timing's not ideal. The food is not ideal. You got to just go play the game. And so we've won out there. We've lost out there. They're not scenic places to go. There's nothing to do. The hotels are average at best. You know, you're looking at fast food and all this different stuff. So it essentially is, and I hate to use this too cliche, but we're kind of on like a mission just to get it done and get it done the right way and get home. And nobody injured, no bus issues, knock on wood, all that stuff. So you just got to do it. And that's, I mean, we all do stuff that we're not excited about, but we understand it's part of the job. And so this is a major part of the job at a very difficult time of the year, and we need to win. And there's no question what we have to do. And so we can't avoid it. We can't dodge it. We can't reschedule it. Can't blame weather. Can't do any of that. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I don't have any sick days. I mean, it's not like we can all just say, hey, we're going to avoid this one and go on to it. You can't skip it. So you got to look it head on, and both programs will go out there with the same intent. But it's brutal, and it's a long trip. By Saturday night, 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever we get back, we've had enough of each other. That's easily said. But every year it's the same deal. It's not something I circle, but we know we have a job to do, and we got to go do it.
Of course, and the other road game you have out of those 6 is going to be, you're going to have to travel up to Arkansas to play
Right.
John Brown.
Right.
But I want to talk about the 2 home games we're going to have. Of course, we're going to have Oklahoma City here on the 16th, but the 22nd, we'll see when the rankings come out where they're at. They were number 2 at that point in time, but they lost to Sagu. Let's talk about Langston. The loss to Sagu, does that show Langston has holes in him and then they're beatable?
Well, let me tell you something. Sagu is at least a plus 10 at home every year. They shoot the lights out in their gym. Their energy's good down there. It's a tough place to play. Langston's the real deal. You can't underestimate how good those guys are. But James, we're skipping Oklahoma City at home. I mean, I know we've won 5 out of 6, but we do not have this figured out. We are game to game. Langston is the last game of the year, or second to last game of the year, Thursday night. I don't even think about Langston. Chris Wright is a great friend of mine. I'm so concerned about trying to steal a game at Wayland Baptist and take care of business at Panhandle State and give us 2 more wins because, you know, obviously we're fighting to get this conference tournament, but we're also fighting for the seed that can help us the best.
So you're saying you probably want the 7 seed instead of the 8 seed?
We would prefer a 6 or 7 seed, definitely. I want the highest seed possible. I know this sounds kind of crazy, but I'm not accustomed to this. Like, this wasn't my expectation to start the year as, hey, let's get into the conference tournament. But sometimes you get in a situation where you have to pivot, and that's what we're doing. So, listen, Brian and Jimmy and myself, you know, if we have lost focus on what's important, then it's my job to get us back in place. our job is to not worry about anything other than this weekend. And the chips fall where they might. Langston might lose another game.
Right.
And they've got a 2-game or 3-game lead. That's their deal. I've told our guys over and over again, as sadistic as this sounds, I want to screw everybody's season up right now. Like, let's just mess everybody's season up. And at the end of the day, when the coaches meet, they'll laugh and shake hands and all this other stuff. But my season has not played out, or our season has not played out the way we want. So let's go mess everybody else's up and see what we can do. And I think if we get a good seed and we're playing with confidence and we do what we've been doing, there's nothing short of, trying to make a run and get in the conference tournament and see if we can't get in the national tournament. So.
But, I mean, the goal would have to be, in the short term, to be able to make it back for the semifinals here, correct?
The goal is to win this weekend. I would love that. If you want to speak coaches talk, I could give you some scenario that everybody would bite on. Let's get to the 7th seed. We win on the road. We come back. We win the semifinal. We get in the final with Langston. Langston wins the conference outright. They got the conference tournament final. We get in there with the final. We're the second bid to the national tournament. That's a scenario in which is obtainable. But that's all 3 chapters away. I mean, that's 3 weeks away. We got to get through this chapter to make sure that we can write the last chapter. And so there's scenarios out there that have happened that are within reach. It's just, we start counting those days. We're going to miss these. And I'm not excited about getting on the bus and driving 7 hours and doing all this other stuff. But it's so important that if we want to have an opportunity to be there at the end, we got to take care of this weekend. So.
I understand that, Coach, and I think that's the best thing for us to end on right here. I hope we can come back and talk to you after this long road trip that you have out there and try to see if those predictions you have are going to be able to come true.
Can I add something real quick?
Yes, sir.
I know Garza just got finished with his. We're not having an official fundraiser, but I do think that my team will participate in a telethon.
Okay.
This will be the first time we've ever done this,
Okay.
and I've used my players as a channel of communication for fundraising.
When should we plan on this?
The 19th or 20th of February.
Okay.
So if anybody watches this, or when somebody watches this, just to understand that, the entire goal of raising money at Texas Wesleyan is to provide our student athletes a better experience. And, so if and when they reach out to you, please understand that money goes directly to them and it makes their experience better because, obviously there's always a shortage of books and this and that and everything goes right back to those guys. So our goal is to try to get that organized for the 19th or 20th. I've never participated in a telethon. I've been told that I have a face for radio. So, I come across really well on the phone. So we'll get all that stuff done, and then these guys will get that. So we would appreciate any help with that. But that's something to put on the radar, and anybody listening can spread the word.
Okay, I appreciate that,
Yeah.
Coach. So until 2 weeks from now, for Coach Brennen Shingleton, I'm Sports Information Director James McBride. We'll see you next time.